What's going on, good people? In today's video, I'm going to give you the roadmap that's helped me sell over $7 million in house painting sales in the last 8 years. This roadmap is a proven way to help you win the customer over in the home by uniquely identifying what's most important to them, utilizing a little sales psychology, and really helping you have a strong sales process when working with customers who want painting projects. So for me, early on in my business, it was important for me to really serve my customers. This is a big gold star in the way I conduct business, but it was really hard for me to do that without knowing the why behind the project. So if you're going into homes and you're doing estimates and you're not entirely sure the best way to approach the customer when it comes to offering your value, ultimately, if you don't have a plan or a process in place, you can find yourself fumbling over your words, pretty much word vomiting, overselling, or really not saying as much as you want to, which kind of leaves a customer not sure if they want to hire you. And I never want you to be in that position. So ultimately, the first thing you need to understand is that there are two types of customers. The first type of customer is a need-based customer. This type of customer needs the job done in order to achieve something else. So for example, if a customer calls you and they're moving into their home, they need the house painted before they can move in. Now, do they really need it painted? Not really, but in most cases, people want it painted, but they don't want to go through the pain of having to move things around to have the painters come. In other words, it's much better to have the painters come when the house is empty, right? So this is what we would consider a need-based customer. There's a few other circumstances that would categorize a customer as need-based, like rotting wood or mold on drywall, or, any sort of maintenance that could cause future damage if the painting is not done. So this is the first type of customer, and by far my absolute favorite type of customer. The next type of customer is a want-based customer. Now, want-based customers are unique, and you probably have dealt with them. And if you're a new painting contractor, follow along, because you will understand this by the time the video is over. But here's the deal. A want-based customer is somebody that wants the service. In other words, the service is the destination. So in other words, someone might be scrolling on Pinterest and see, what cabinets look like when they're painted white. And they think to themselves, you know what? I want my cabinets white because there's a feeling that's going to be associated when the cabinets are painted white. Now, whatever that is, generally speaking, it is a desire for that job to be done, but ultimately, it's not as strong as a need to have the job done, okay? So as an estimator of a painting project, if you're doing estimates in the home, the first thing you want to do is ask, what's the story, right? It's so important for you to let the customer self-categorize so you can adjust your sales process based on whether the customer is a need-based customer or a want-based customer. So let me give you an example. So if I'm working with a customer and I say, hey, what's the story? And they say, hey, listen, we're moving into this house. We want the house painted before we move in. Generally speaking, I am not going to treat this customer the same way as somebody who tells me that they live in the house and ultimately they just want to freshen up the walls or change the color. In most cases, I'm not going to say something along the lines of, oh, wow, well, just so you know, our availability is XYZ. So if I said that to the customer that was want-based, they would probably not care, because their highest level need in that scenario, everyone's got needs, but they are more focused on the visual appeal, and the experience is not how fast I can get it done. That is not important to that customer. But to the need-based customer, if I start off by emphasizing, hey, just so you know, before we go any further, I have availability within the next 2 weeks to get this done, to that customer, that is important. Why? Because if my availability isn't within a reasonable time frame, I'm ultimately disqualified from the project. In other words, even if they want to go with me, they're moving in is way more important than the painting. Therefore, I'm disqualified and it doesn't matter anyway. But if I emphasize time, what I'm ultimately doing is I'm aligning my value with what's most important to them. So in other words, by knowing that they're moving in, I can reinforce that I'm on the same page, and I know that you're on a time crunch And I want you to know that I value that, and I'm already thinking ahead, and I'm already planning to get the job, but more importantly, making sure you know that I care about time. So ultimately, sales is about asking the right questions and then ultimately providing the right value, really just in a way that's similar to like an alley-oop in basketball. Essentially, you lob up the ball and then you dunk it once you understand that what you're really doing is you're helping customers see value along the way. So in other words, they might not have thought about this question that I'm going to ask the customer who's moving in. Just curious, hey, I hadn't, obviously I'm learning a little bit about your scenario, but I'd love to know, when are the movers scheduled? This might not be something that other painting contractors are asking, but for me, I understand really the intent here with only just a little bit of information. You're moving into the home. Well, why is the painter asking when the movers are scheduled? Well, of course, that's something that I was going to think about telling the painting contractor, but this painting contractor is already extremely aware of my situation, is exercising empathy, is building trust with me, and is asking the questions that I had, which obviously increases trust and helps me identify that this guy could be the right choice for my project. So essentially, sales is about understanding the end goal for the customer and positioning your unique value in a way that aligns with the customer's desires and makes you look like the top choice. Now, in that specific scenario, as a seasoned professional in my trade, I understand all of the needs and all of the desires and all of the destinations. The good news for you as a business owner, and you may be looking at this video and you might not be a painting contractor, you might be a different type of contractor. It doesn't matter. Really, what you should identify and be a student of is, number one, what are the unique end goal desires for my customers? Now, for me as a painting business owner, generally speaking, most customers who deal with us on the need side either are moving into the home, they're moving out of the home, there's something that is anchoring the decision that ultimately is a destination they're trying to get to, right? Maybe they're flipping the home, right? These are need-based customers. Again, damage, rotting, things like that, that ultimately the painting is going to help prevent future damage in that scenario. But our want-based customers, these customers are focused heavily on the way things look and ultimately the experience, right? These are great customers, but the issue sometimes we run into is that, they get paralysis by analysis. So as a seasoned in-home sales professional, you should understand what those roadblocks are. What are the blockers? As a painting business owner, the biggest blocker for us is color. So early on in my business, I recognized this. When I first started my business, one of my ultimate value sales propositions was I was going to run to the paint store and grab you 3 or 4 little quart-sized samples for you to paint on the wall, or for me to paint on the wall during your sales interaction. With a Sherwin-Williams, within 15-20 minutes, if I asked the customer if they were interested in that, not only did this give me an opportunity to build more value, build more trust, it really showcased the customer that I care about them, but it helped eliminate the blocker. And in this case, with want-based customers, the biggest blocker is choosing colors. So as I've grown in my business, I started implementing different systems to help with these blockers that aren't reliant on my physical presence, which in this case is a color consultant. Again, this is how you move the needle. And ultimately, in most cases, we're not going to offer a color consultant to a need-based customer who's moving out of their home. They don't care. They just want a neutral color. They don't care about the experience. But what if we have a need and a want-based customer? These are the epitome customers. These are the customers that drive your business forward. These are the customers that not only want your service, right? In other words, they want the experience. They value quality. They care about a warranty. They care about the color consultation. You can leverage urgency. You can leverage time. You can leverage team. You can leverage communication. You can leverage the need-based values as well. And again, there's no better customer that I would identify than a customer that's moving into a home that they really care about and they want to make either their forever home or live there for a long time. If this is your first introduction to the psychology of sales, I'm happy that you stayed the whole way, because this is just the beginning for you to stop estimating every project the same way. because when you're dealing with homeowners, everything's emotional. But ultimately, what I want you to know is that if you start looking at each customer's specific reason as to why they want the job done, and you start adjusting your sales process and only offering value in unique ways, then guess what? You're going to find yourself having a higher closing ratio, and your customers are going to feel more comfortable going with you because you're on the same page. Generally speaking, sales is about helping customers get to their destination, not you selling customers so you can get to your destination. So think about that on your next painting estimate. And of course, my name's Tanner. I'm so grateful for you to join me on my YouTube channel. And of course, please subscribe, give me a comment, drop a like, join the school community. I got a community of motivated entrepreneur business owners jumping in, learning some content. And of course, check out DripJobs, the #1 software for painting and home service business owners that has every feature you can imagine, from invoicing, proposals, job costing, production rates, you name it, we've got it. And it is the all-in-one solution to help you dominate your market, ultimately create a powerful customer experience, and build trust through communication and automation. Check out the next video. I'll see you there.